We're more than halfway through the session now, and it's been a busy week. So we're here to tell you what went down and what's coming up. He's Nate, I'm Andrew, and this is the DLC's Policy Corner.
First up, the beginning of the week saw the final prioritization of the list in social services appropriations. Our budget tracker will have the items we're following and where they're ranked. So stay tuned for the websites where you can find that later in this episode. There are a couple of good things that were prioritized at the top, like about $5 million for the DSPD waiting list, Medicaid rate parity for youth in foster care and JJYS, and a provider rate increase for those in community-based services. However, there are some important pieces that are ranked kind of low.
One of the most concerning is the state match for local mental health authorities. They requested $8 million to bring the match from the state to where it should be, but that was ranked 34th on the list. Without this funding, an already underfunded mental health system could see cuts to services. On top of that, funding for more mobile crisis outreach teams and a receiving center in rural areas is ranked 46th. Once again, we're seeing social services not prioritize funding for mental health services. We'll need your help reaching out to executive appropriations on these items and more. So, as Nate said, check out our full list and where things ended up. Reach out to EAC if you want something prioritized.
Yeah, and there's certainly a ton more we could say on the budget, but we also had a busy week of bills. For some good news, at the end of last week, Representative Judkin's bill to codify supported decision-making agreements made it out of the House Judiciary Committee. We appreciate everyone who joined us to support this bill, and we'll keep you updated as it moves forward.
We also saw Representative Daley Provost's HB 137 fail yet again. This bill would have allowed a person with a disability to have income up to 500% of the federal poverty level and 125,000 or less in assets to pay Medicaid a sliding scale premium for needed services not covered by private insurance.
We also had a little more good news on Monday as Representative Judkin's HB 139, the mental health treatment study, make it out of committee. So we'll also have to keep you updated on where that one goes moving forward.
A little more good news is that HB 393, Representative Daley Provost's bill to create a dedicated funding source for the DSPD waiting list, made it out of committee. The bill sets aside $400 million and uses some of the interest, hopefully $10 million a year, for the waiting list. On a similar note, HB 324 from Representative Ballard, which would give a few folks on the DSPD waiting list access to Medicaid, also passed committee. Please reach out to your representative and ask them to support both of these on the floor.
We also saw Representative Ward's HB 347 in committee. This bill requires students to be placed in the least restrictive environment when it's not significantly disruptive in an ongoing fashion, won't lead to serious bodily injury of others, and won't allow for repeated sexual harassment or assault. The bill clearly conflicts with protections in federal special education law, and it would lead to a lot of litigation, so we spoke against it. Unfortunately, the committee voted this one through, so we'll have to keep talking to legislators to try and stop it, and we would encourage you to do the same.
And the fun never stops coming during the session. The most concerning new bill is HB 463 from Representative Brammer. The bill requires the state to take certain actions to cut costs in Medicaid if the state experiences a shortfall in funding. We're keeping a close eye on this one, but we're also waiting for a substitute we hear is coming. We should have more information on this bill next week.
Finally, we do have some good news on the special education front in the form of HB 485 and HB 492 from Representative Judkins. The first one creates a pilot program to encourage co-teaching in schools to ensure better inclusion of students with disabilities in the general ed classroom. The other would create a program in the courts to train attorneys on special education law and hopefully connect them with students and families who need their representation free of charge. We also want to note we appreciate Senator Fillmore for removing language from SB 137 that would have allowed schools to ignore federal guidance and give teachers the same authority as principals to remove students from their classroom. So thanks to Senator Fillmore on that one.
There's also a bill from Representative Lisenby, HB 495, that would create a registry for folks convicted of certain crimes against vulnerable adults. This bill would hopefully prevent people from being hired by providers of services for people with disabilities. Given some of our concerns about oversight in the long-term care, we are hopeful this bill is a step in the right direction.
All right. Well, that's it for this week, but we've certainly got a lot going on next week. So as always, check out our website, disabilitylawcenter.org/issues/public-policy. As we said, you can find the budget tractor, contact information for executive appropriations, and you can follow all the bills we're watching. Plus, there's our calendar of events and meetings and all of our public comments. As always, thank you for watching the DLC's Policy Corner, and we will see you next week. And we're out.